Alright, so I'm Joe. We've got Will here, who's the camera expert as well.
Hey.
And we both have really hard jobs. They're stressful.
Super hard. So we eat our feelings away sometimes.
Or do other activities, but today we're gonna eat our feelings away. So we're gonna make what we call, or what I call, a roast beef sandwich with round white cheese and a beef broth dipping juice.
Yeah, that's normally called a French dip, but since Joe's not French, he's not allowed to say that.
Yeah, I can't do that. It's appropriation.
We don't want any cultural appropriation in this household.
Yeah, so Will can do that because he's ethnic. But,
yeah.
But he can only do the Mexican stuff and the Canadian.
And the Canadian stuff. I don't know what Canadian food is, but other than poutine.
Well, ham. They call it bacon.
That's true, Canadian bacon.
So, to start off, if you read my shirt, I like to smoke stuff, mainly meats. So, we're going to smoke our roast beef for this. And what we've got here is a beef round eye roast. Actually, two of them.
Ooh, fancy. Do they have any square eye roasts or any other shapes?
I don't know. You ever seen a square eye?
No, I've never seen a square eye before. Do goats have square eyes? They have funny shaped eyes.
They might. I don't know. So what we're going to do first is I'm going to trim off this hard fat, because hard fat doesn't really render down and it gets chewy. So I'm wearing these orange gloves just so that I don't have to wash my hands over and over again.
I won't be touching any of this, so I don't need to have my food handler's permit.
We're not selling it, so.
Yeah, that's true. This is all for us. Sorry guys. If you're watching, it's not sold in stores. Look at all that fat. If only we could lose fat that easily.
Yeah, I'm trying to trim my fat. Alright, so I got most of the hard fat off of that one. This other one doesn't really have any on it, so that's good. Alright, so actually cut a hole in that glove. That's alright. So what we're going to do now is season it. And I like to just do basic seasonings, not get too fancy. So we're going to salt it.
Salt it. There's more salt here than League of Legends.
Don't even know what that is.
Any nerds watching this will understand. I don't know how many nerds are watching these cooking videos, Joe.
I don't know. So just get a good layer of salt on it. Then we'll do some pepper. And I am left-handed, so shaking this on with my right hand is a little weird.
If only they had left-handed black pepper shakers.
We'll have to invent that.
Right after we invent the left-handed car.
That's British.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Alright, and then so salt, pepper, onion powder. Not onion salt. Onion powder.
We already salted this thing once.
Yeah, we like to control our salt intake, which is a lot. So, and then the other thing that's kind of like a secret that one of my friends taught me, celery salt. It's actually what really like kicks brisket up a notch. So we're gonna put it on here.
How do they get celery salt?
Let's ask the Google. I'm not rich enough for a Siri.
Come on, Joe.
Alright, so we've seasoned this up. I'm just going to smoke them in this pan on this top of this grate to catch the juices, because I don't like to get my grill too dirty because I hate cleaning it. So what we're going to do is get the smoker going, and then we'll just put it on the smoker, and then we'll play a game of Italian plumbers who drive cars.
Mario Kart, okay.
We're gonna put this in the good old pit boss now because I can't afford a Traeger or a Yoder. But we're gonna put it there, and we're gonna put our thermometers in so that I don't have to keep coming out and checking it. Just gonna get a good internal read. Now I'm a horrible heathen. I like my meat red, so I'm gonna go for a internal temp of about 130 for a good medium rare, or medium. Maybe 135 for closer to well, but we like it a little red inside. What about you, Will?
Whatever you make, Joe, is delicious. So
Yeah, we're gonna go for about 135. Okay, now we're gonna get the au jus ready. So for that, got our pan. I'm gonna put 4 tablespoons of butter in there, and so that we need to sweat our onions.
why would you want sweaty onions?
Well,
Put deodorant on the onions first?
I don't know why they call it sweat, but these ones do get stinky, I guess. But if you want to know the trick to not crying when you cut onions, the trick is to get a bad onion. Like, that's honestly what it is. The better the onion, the more it'll make you cry, in my opinion. I've tried the water technique. I've tried a bunch of different ones. I can't remember all of them, but there's like put it in an ice bath. There's cut off just a certain part of it. But really, there's nothing you can do.
A good onion will make you cry.
Yeah.
Just like a good husband.
I don't know. I don't have a husband.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But a good onion will make you cry, and a good pepper will burn you twice.
Yeah. Double dragon.
So we're just going to put the onions in with the butter, and then we're going to sweat it.
Sweat.
And
It's the one time you want sweaty food.
so I'm going to go put this on the stove. You can keep that camera there for right now. And then with the garlic, I'm going to do 3 cloves. My wife tells me that under no circumstances should you ever just put 1 clove of garlic in something.
She's right.
Unless it's how to cook 1 clove of garlic, but then you still might want to do more than 1.
Yeah. The first one's just practice, and the rest of them are what's actually going into the food.
So what I'm doing is I'm just going to crush this garlic, because since it's just going in to help flavor the sauce, and then we're going to dip in it. We're not actually going to eat the sauce per se. We're just going to crush it and then put it in. So
Now for you garlic lovers out there, 6, 10, maybe 20 cloves should be enough.
Garlic also helps you sleep. You may sleep alone because of your breath, but it helps you sleep.
That way no one will bother you while you're trying to sleep.
And then just, this paper stuff's not fun, but you gotta get it off.
Or you just have really chewy garlic.
So now we're gonna add this to the onions. And I like to clean as I go.
Joe is not a dirty slob. He is a clean person.
Okay, so the onions are pretty good, well sweated. The garlic's in there, so what we're gonna do now is just add some beef broth. And I did not put salt with the onions because there's salt in the broth. So now we're just gonna let this simmer until, on a low heat, until the sandwich is done. But I forgot to say that the smoker is set at 250 to 275 degrees. So that's the temp we're smoking it at. Okay. Alright, so these roasts are done now. They've reached 135. What we're going to do now is we're going to cover them with foil and let them rest. They need a little nap.
What do you think meat dreams about?
Buns.
Buns? Yeah, I dream about those too.
Will's gonna sing him a lullaby.
I don't know any good lullabies.
But really, we're letting the juices redistribute back out because when they're hot, they kind of just all go to one place in the meat, and if you let it rest, they get all throughout it and makes it juicy again.
So that's what resting is for.
Now what we can do is we're gonna get the bread ready.
Bread is the best part, right?
Mm-hmm. So
now why do you need a bread knife?
the serration is making so you don't tear the bread apart when you're cutting it.
Oh.
So we're gonna cut this into two. Turn this on. And we're just gonna cut them open. I used to work at Subway, so I know how to cut bread.
I don't think they teach you how to cut bread at Subway. I've always had those lopsided sandwiches at Subway.
Well, I worked at the right one. My dad was the boss, so he made us know how to cut bread.
That's good. It wasn't but some weird zigzag and then they just tear half of it out.
Well, they used to do the U-gouge, where you'd cut out a little boat in the top and then put the bread on top, but they don't teach that anymore.
That's old school Subway.
So we're gonna butter this bread up, put it in the
Butter.
Well, will you get the circle white cheese out of that fridge?
I'm not breaking your fridge, I swear. Let's see, circle white cheese. Where do you hide your cheese, Joe?
It's by the oat milk there.
Is it this?
No, down. In the purple package.
Is it this?
Yeah. My wife can't have lactose, so milk, so she has oat milk in there.
Oat milk. I think oat milk, they have to raise it from a young oat and then eventually it starts lactating, right?
Yeah, I don't know at what age oats lactate, or almonds for that sake, or cashews.
Or soy. So this round circle cheese. I think in Italian it's called provolone.
Close. But I think that this is also made in the U.S. So.
Oh.
Yep. Bentonville, Arkansas. Arkansas.
Arkansas. Why are Kansas and Arkansas so different?
We're going to put some garlic powder on here.
More garlic, of course.
Season it up. Just flavor it up a little.
Yeah.
Let's do some fresh pepper.
So fresh he has to grind it himself.
Luckily, we have a little air fryer toaster oven thingy.
Oh my
Has a
gosh.
basket you can.
So, in case you can't tell, Joe is actually a millionaire and has all these cool kitchen appliances.
No, you just know where all my money goes. We'll leave that in there for a couple minutes. And then, question is, do we slice the meat with a knife or a meat slicer? Let's do a knife. Let's do a knife first.
How come that knife has a round edge?
Well, this part's not sharp, but this is a carving knife for like meat. It's really good on brisket and
Okay.
just meat's really good for it. Or it's really good for meat.
Just pre-sliced Italian cheese.
Pre-sliced white circle cheese.
Good.
Do you like white circle cheese?
I love white circle cheese. I also like it in other shapes. Squares, triangles, octagons.
I don't like American cheese. Or Velveeta.
No, I'm not a big fan of those.
I don't even know if we should call it Velveeta because that sounds Italian and those. Alrighty. Oh, look at that. That's heating up nicely.
Yes. What's next?
We'll grab one of these roasts.
Okay, now that it's rested, it's taken a mid-afternoon nap.
Normally I let them rest a little bit longer, but I'm hungry.
I am too. That's the problem with working with Joe, is he always makes such delicious food.
That's what the au jus looks like now, right now. Smells delicious. How's that looking, Will?
It's looking super delicious.
The smell. If only we could invent smell-o-vision. Just imagine a nice, good roast beef that has been cooking for hours.
You can smell the celery salt on it.
Yeah, and it smells way good. Celery salt is made from the ground seeds. I looked it up.
And look at that smoke ring.
Beautiful. It's more beautiful than my firstborn child.
You don't even have one.
Exactly. It's more beautiful than nothing.
Now I'm going to slice this pretty thin.
Going for the thin slices. Look at that concentration. Look at that dedication. Look at that meat.
Now we're getting into where it's more juicy and look, Will, you can have your more cooked stuff and I can have my less cooked stuff.
Perfect. All the way. So, how many people will these roasts serve? Like, you and me? Just two?
I think a whole torpedo, I'd say 4 people maybe.
4 people can eat a whole torpedo. No submarines were harmed in the making of this video. If you are a submarine, I'm sorry that you have to watch these torpedoes be kept.
now I'm gonna bring the au jus over. So I'm gonna pour these juices in it. Can't cover the camera.
No.
But look at that. Look at that, Will. Would you look at that?
Well, would you just look at it? I could watch Joe cut this meat for days.
You know you couldn't.
Well, I'd be eating it along the way. For those of you watching, I'm really restraining myself from just eating it straight right now. But I know Joe will make it even better.
Alrighty. Just a couple more slices. Alrighty then. This might be more tricky than I thought. Here, Will. Over here.
Oh,
Right here.
There we go. All the delicious juice.
Alright. Let's bring in Brawny.
Mr. Brawny himself.
This isn't really Brawny brand, this is the cheap stuff, but we'll call it lumberjack towels.
Used by professional lumberjacks everywhere. Why is Brawny a lumberjack?
I don't know.
Does he know he's clear cutting these forests for paper towels?
Probably not. Alrighty. You ready to assemble, Will?
I'm ready. I'm ready for phase 2. Look at that beautiful bread. Covered in butter and garlic.
Alright, so now get a glove on, Will.
Where are your extra gloves?
There's one right there.
Okay, I'm right-handed, so I'm putting this glove on my right hand once I figure out where the opening is.
We don't need to fold the meat, we're not at Subway.
Not at Subway. This is much better than Subway. Let me tell you that right now.
And because we have to, I'm just gonna take this piece and
Take a bite.
You gotta try that one, Will. That's the burnt end.
A burnt end?
That's the best part.
This alone makes it worth it. This is a 10 out of 10.
Right now we'll cheese it up.
Stealing the rest.
And then what I like to do is put it back in. Cheese. For a little toasty toast. You're only gonna do 2 slices, Will?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm only gonna go with 2 slices this time.
And now for our au jus, or our beef broth dipping juice.
bringing out the fancy cups. Look at that. Well, would you just look at it?
Just look at it.
The broth alone, I bet you could drink. Just drink it straight up. You may not hear this very often, but drinking meat juice can be good.
Especially if it's bone broth.
Especially bone broth.
It's got collagen in it.
This video is not sponsored by meat juice.
Alrighty, Will, since you said it, let's taste this juice here.
Oh my gosh. Delicious.
I think mine needs a little bit more salt.
More salt? You see how much salt we go through in this household? I don't even live here. But it's so good.
Oh yeah, that's money.
It's delicious, Joe. So after you toast your buns, what's after that? Just
You want
enjoy
yours
the-
toasted?
Yeah, I'll take it toasted. Let me get a shot of that final toasted. You can see the melted cheese, the nice meaty goodness. Oh my gosh. Joe is just a master chef. Joe Chef, if you will.
That's what people call me. Alrighty, so it's hot. Close it up. It's so hot.
It's so hot. This is the hottest thing we've touched all day. Make sure you have your parents' supervision when you're cutting hot bread.
Here we
Or a towel.
go. A clean towel.
A clean towel.
This is just so we can dip it better.
You want to make sure that sandwich is dippable.
Alright, well, you take one part, I'll take the other.
Taking this front part.
Oh.
I am weak when it comes to hot things.
Dip it up and
And take a bite.
Mm, mm, mm.